Hi.
Oh, look at him. He looks like he's a
Going
deer in
on?
the headlights.
Hello.
Hello, how are
How are
you?
things? Somebody got a haircut.
How can you tell with his hat on?
It's sexy. I don't know. Just you cranked up the volume to 10 there.
Hell yeah, I do. I even trimmed up my beard and my... Oh, wait, we're not doing that, so... we're still audio only.
This is
NSFW,
not OnlyFans. This is, YouTube,
But please check
Spotify,
our
and wherever
page.
you catch. Right? Exactly.
Yeah, if you want Brian's link to his OnlyFans, it's actually...
Yeah, put it on out there. Anything to get more money. We're trying to monetize this place.
paying our mortgage with that.
Shh. With this thing, hell yeah. So how's everyone doing?
Good.
Doing great, man.
Well, I know
Just
right now,
fine.
obviously, because we're short a Hard Slinger, we're not really going to do a state of the show. We're just going to do a like a Hard Slinger panel, basically. Kind of put some material out there. I know I've been putting out some Delta Green in the meantime also. But yeah, we're just going to kind of enjoy each other's company tonight for a little while and hope that our fellow slingers out there enjoy it as well. So I'm not going to break the continuity of the numbers of the show, so I'm going to lead us on in. Greetings, fellow slingers. Welcome back to Roll the Hard 20 podcast. It is I, your trusted Dungeon Master Brian, and with me, the Hard Slingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, episode, I think we're on, what is it, 41? Is this 41 now? Who's
Should
got
be
a number?
41.
What
Yeah,
kind of
well-
DM are you where you lose count?
Hey, you know what? The secretary quit. I told her, ain't going to make it no more.
Sexually harassed her.
So, as we start off, I got a whole sheet of business that I like to talk about. First and foremost, Junior, did you not have a birthday?
I did.
You did. Happy birthday, my brother.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank
Let's give this man
Do
a
you
gold
remember
doubloon.
it?
Yeah,
I don't
in
remember
June,
these.
though.
I don't remember the specific date, but I know he had one. So, Junior,
Well,
write down a gold doubloon for yourself.
all right. You know my birthday's in June, right?
No, it's not.
It is. That's why I was like, do you have a birthday
Oh,
this year? I was like,
shit.
yeah.
No, you know what
Everyone
it is?
does.
Give me that gold doubloon back. It's actually Chris's birthday. Yeah, it was
Probably.
Twice on here.
January 15, I think it was. Or his is February 15th or January 15th. It's one of those two. His brother and him are like a month apart, so
What's your
don't get
birthday,
that.
Ryan?
My birthday is December 2nd, quite some time ago.
December 2nd.
My wife's the
Wow.
Hmm?
My wife's is the 3rd.
My uncle's is the 3rd, actually.
That'll be easy to remember.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Brian's is the 1st.
That's right. And so is your
And
twin
when's my
brothers.
birthday? Yeah.
You have a twin brother?
I have no, I have two younger brothers that are twins.
I was gonna
And they're
say,
born
have them
on
sit in one time.
One of them
Well-
actually looks similar to me.
I'm going to scratch your name off these notes because no, it is not your fucking birthday. And I'm going to write down no gold.
Oh, sorry. I already put it down. Hand off the chess piece.
Fuck you. No gold doubloon. So, moving on with our business, you know what? I got a shout out. We have a shout out. And ironically, I just got this email today from a Gary Kilgore. Now, that is a fucking badass name.
That's a
like
cool last name.
That's I don't know if that's like his, like, this is my screen name, Kilgore, but he's like a half-orc barbarian. But I love this guy. And he wrote into the show. And he had a lot of good things to say. First and foremost, greetings and salutations, fellow Hard Slingers. My name is Gary Kilgore. And I got to tell you, I have enjoyed the ride so far. And it's taken a month, but I caught up. And I love all the work you've done. He listened to everything, our entire backlog.
Oh my
You know,
god.
Oh
month.
yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, he likes our transition from 5e to Pathfinder. And I hope he's not too put out by the fact that we actually transitioned back to 5e, which I'll explain later on. He also said that he listened to all of our Delta Green scenarios and he believes they are phenomenal. He says, and me as a keeper / handler have been doing an amazing job with the detail and explanation with the things that they have been running into. My hat off to you, and I bow in respect, and may you forever roll a hard 20. Hell yeah. Gary, I'm gonna need you to send me your email, your address, so I could send you out a D20, a gold doubloon, and of course, one of our stickers with the logo.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
That's
and I'll
awesome, man.
man.
Free
Talk about
month
it.
subscription to Brian's OnlyFans.
Yeah, and as far as I know, it nobody paid him to say those things, but whatever. Next, bringing up the whole aspect with our going into from 5e to Pathfinder and then back to 5e. I think it was a mutual decision from all of us to in an effort to streamline our combat and expedite our skill checks, but it just makes for a better listening experience. And until we all get as familiar with Pathfinder as Mr. Radke here is, I think that we'll continue with 5e until we start up the next day. Oh man, you're our hero. Bow down to this man.
Oh, please.
Go on. Go on.
But like I said, Gary, thank you very much for your high praises.
Yes, we do appreciate it.
Heck yeah, and I'm glad that he liked listening to the Delta Green scenarios. We have one more to drop for Sweetness. Has anybody else listened to Sweetness on our Delta Green yet? If not, why the hell not, man? Why the fuck not? You got to get your ass caught up to speed.
I clicked the link for Sweetness, but something else popped up. Not sure if it was what you guys meant to release.
Dude, oh, I'll show you what I'll release. Don't you worry about it.
Your search history, right?
That's right. So just be careful with what you Google.
Yeah, hard sweetness.
Hard Slinger
Oh.
Sweetness.
That's not gonna.
You never know what you're gonna get.
That's not gonna go well.
So,
Sorry.
Ryan, you had messaged me a few additional questions that you thought we could cover during this panel, and I want to address those as well. But before we get into them, how's everyone else doing with the show? How we all feeling? Everybody enjoying?
Oh, I'm great. I'm just keeping the floor warm.
Oh, look at
Yeah.
you. You're slowly cuddling your microphone twice. But you did write a question. The first question: what are our characters' perceptions of Hunclay's Manor? The character, not the player. So going around the room, let's start with you, Warren.
Warren is both terrified and completely entranced with Hunclay's Manor. For getting into kind of like the mechanics of what Warren is as far as the game is concerned, he is a warlock. However, he was trained by a wizard to understand magic, however, has had power granted to him by his patron. And so to a certain extent, he's like, I would totally have a place like this in like, you know, a couple of decades. On the other hand, he's completely terrified because of like the little hints and inferences of what Hunclay's obviously been studying and fascinated with, and you know, putting his time into. And he's like, what fucked up shit are we going to find in here that's going to murder us? Which then leads us to Warren's current predicament.
Yes. Flint, what is Flint's take on the manor itself?
He thinks Hunclay's a freak. You know, Hunclay would stay in his manor by himself, keep away anyone that, you know, would try to get near it. You know, who keeps a demon like this in their basement? That's kind of describes this kind of guy
And is that the only demon he's keeping?
that we found so far.
Yeah.
But definitely going through his manor, finding the things, his personal hobbies, his, you know, downtime hobbies were pretty dark. Like this guy was definitely. We still need to find that latex suit somewhere.
That's right, the gimp
Gimp
suit.
suit? Oh,
The gimp
God.
suit.
Gimp
Wow.
suit.
Just
Dempsey. Now you just recently banded up with these guys, and the first thing they do is they drag you into this manor. You know nothing about the Kobold Lair or any of that other stuff. You know when they went through the collapsed witch tower, but this is the first place they take you to. What is his thought on that?
Sure. So, you know, Dempsey comes from a pretty modest background, working class family, and he's basically on the run I got a whole backstory figured out for him, but you know, like going to the Baroness's house, he's never been around this kind of riches and seeing this kind of stuff. He's not necessarily a very smart person. So the stuff like the Astro Lab and the telescope upstairs, all that stuff, he doesn't understand any of that. And even the demon, he hasn't been exposed to magic like what he sees Warren do. So I think he's a little bit out of his element, but now that they're fighting, he, you know, kind of has a something to focus on, and protecting the team is his main goal.
And that's awesome. That's very interesting too. That's his main goal is to. It may not have been the team he wanted to be with. It's like you go to war with the army you're with. You don't get to pick and choose a lot of that a lot of times, and it's just cool to see him get into it and protect the guys that he's with. So now we're gonna round robin and ask you guys what are your perception of Hunclay's Manor as a player. And we're gonna go back around the opposite way. David, what's your perception of it?
So I feel like, because I've GM before too, it feels like it's empty in a way. Like there's not a lot there, which is a little bit weird. I feel like if we were another group, we probably could have just ran through this thing very quickly, almost like a SWAT team, kind of like kick in the door, look around, da da da, and we could have been through the entire thing in 10 minutes because there's not a lot to interact with in a way.
And I was going to add to that question also that I missed that part. And how is it similar to other APs you've been in or ran to it? So I'm glad you picked up on that and just basically ran with it. But yeah, other groups probably could have just SWAT teamed this whole place. But then again,
we're not other crews.
Yeah, I mean,
no,
women and children first. women and warlocks first.
I've had you know, just buddies that play this game too in the hobby, and they've told me that's kind of how they run their stuff. It's like very down to the movement. One guy opens the door, the next guy runs in, throws a rock with light on it. Then the next guy walks in with his arrow. You know, it's just like boom, boom, boom. That SWAT team approach. Like clear it, move, clear it, move. And I wouldn't find it that fun as a player, honestly.
I was gonna say, do you find that more indicative of people that that metagame though?
Yeah, I would think so. Or like military guys, that's just what they know.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're just going in, the first person to have touched one of those arcane locks would have got laid out. You know, and who knows if there's more, or if you've expended all of them that are in the manor already. And I mean, we saw the damage that everybody had taken. And even though trying to come up with great ideas with putting the shield up to try to minimize the sonic blast from the lock, and eventually it starts slowing you down and making you more cautious, taking precautions as far as whether or not you're going to touch that handle, or let's make sure. And I know that Chris isn't with us right now. He's always with us in spirit. But he had messaged me after the last episode and said that he really enjoyed how everyone was more methodical and described a lot of their actions and stuff. And honestly, I thought it was pretty cool. You know, people really want to get involved with, you know, what's this door look like? What's in this room? What's in that drawer? You know, what does the handle look like? What side is the hinges on it? I think it adds a level of description and depth to the show that a lot of people hand wave, but I think a lot of people also want to read about or hear about it anyways. But Flint, sorry. Flint, you gotta take a backseat. Right. Junior.
Flint is starting to, or sorry, not Flint, myself. You got me.
I don't feel so bad now.
I'm starting to think that he's kind of like not a main grand picture guy. Like he's someone doing a certain part of a job to unlock a bigger picture of something. Like he's entitled to do a certain job, whether it's something to do with this demon in the basement or something that we haven't figured out yet. But that's how I'm feeling with all the interest of, you know, oh, well, we need to collect articles of his house and, you know, take inventory of everything. It's like, well, if his family's out of town, who are they? Who wants to collect these things if it's anonymous, other than the next of kin? There's not much information about that as well.
And like as someone who's played other APs as well, especially Pathfinder APs, because we did Carrion Crown too. How does this how do you look at this compared to other APs that you've played in as well?
I know we've had our fun playing with Carrion Crown. We were stuck in the prison forever, and that was another thing that I enjoyed, was the attention of detail. We were going through rooms and no stone left unturned. We were making sure we got every piece we could find.
Yeah, you guys went. I mean, what was it? How many doors were in that place?
Oh, a shit ton. And then there was a place we were avoiding because there was a haunting that we didn't want to deal with. And we would just run
because
across.
he'd already fuck with you every time you go in and had to run past him. He'd like attack you guys and shit. But what about you, Ryan? As a player?
As a player, I find that this is very fascinating. So like most of our sessions are typically an hour long. And what I know, sometimes we'll record multiple sessions at once. And so I find it fascinating because we have seen the map of the layout of this, and you're like, oh, that's not that bad. We can totally run through this. Nope. There's a lot more detail that's in there. And I enjoy how this place is actually kind of laid out almost like a manor or a villa or something like that, and there's a little bit of story in each room. There's the help, and I'm spacing on his name, that's being locked away. There's
Methesnick.
Yes, Methesnick. And talking about the other help, there's the library upstairs. There is the locked cabinets of books, and it's like, what's in here? And then now we're going through the basement, of which I as a player is like, oh yeah, totally nothing can go wrong here. So it's kind of interesting as far as comparing to other APs. I don't know if I've run into one that's in kind of a similar setting, but one of my favorite games that I played in the last few years was actually a Prince of the Apocalypse game, which had a lot of awesome stuff in it, and it was very open-ended, and you can storm a bunch of the different cultist keeps and other things like that. And I also appreciate how there's certain aspects of this game that feel a little open-ended, okay, the Baroness has tasked us with this. Well, what are we going to do and prep for it? What other information are we going to gather? Oh, hey, look, a map of the cottage that we're going to go and inventory and stuff. So,
and there's been a lot of stuff that I've been able to help articulate, that you guys, when you go off on your different tangents and you want to go to this place or you want to talk to this guy, and it opens up more things than I think that the AP had prepared, which is fine by me because I enjoy adding stuff. And it's just the same thing when you guys were in Ravengrow in the Carrion Crown. There were times that the heroes would go through and talk to different solicitors or the blacksmith and start getting involved with their livelihood, and you just, I think everybody's been a DM at one point, and they know how to put together some kind of a personality for someone that they're talking to. And so when they come back around, you're stacking on personalities. As far as the manner for me, watching you guys go through it and investigate stuff, and watching how everyone's making their moves, and when certain things are triggered or when certain things are discovered. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there that I could see that would entice each and every one of you in some way, especially Warren with the books and stuff. And the Baroness had tasked you guys to go in there and take inventory of this place, and yet you have all these temptations that maybe you don't want to inventory it, maybe you want to take it, and then you got voices in your head telling you take it, stuff like that, and then something lays you out, and then here you are sprawled out and having a great old time. But now this is another question that you proposed. How does our character feel in 5e versus Pathfinder? Now, this is a question that you proposed, like 5e versus Pathfinder back to 5e, or like comparing the two to each other?
Yeah. So
which
like
one?
I mean, well, like, so for me, Warren, and I'm certainly willing to admit that part of this is likely stemming from the fact that I am less familiar with Pathfinder, but I feel very directionless with Warren as a character. And also, too, part of that is that with the rule set for Pathfinder that we were using, there's not actually a warlock class. So I was like hand jamming a sorcerer into a warlock.
Finger banging? What?
Yeah. Don't mind the bottle of lube over there. It helps make it go smoothly. But no,
whoa.
I don't like
for his OnlyFans page.
Exactly. And that's going to be the running joke tonight, and
guess
possibly the next time. Yeah, just there is, as Pathfinder, Warren felt far less effective. I didn't feel like I had as many good options of actually putting the character together as I did in 5e. To me, 5e feels much more, it's the different choices you can make for your class, the race, the class, and the background, and then the choice of like a subclass or archetype, whatever you want to call it, gives it a very like interesting, clean look to me for a character, and you're able to nuance a lot of it a lot more than in Pathfinder. Pathfinder to me feels there's so many different choices that you can make that it's easy to have kind of a goulash.
Junior, like analysis paralysis.
Yeah, I was going to say that actually. There's times that you get in that where you have so many choices that you just you lock up.
I'm like, fuck it, generic cleric.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah. Junior, what was your take on when we between the two systems, which are both, by the way, as far as DM, GM, Judge, Ref, Handler, all that other stuff, I like them all. It doesn't bother me either way, and I enjoy them. And we will eventually get back to Pathfinder, which I'll explain later on. But Junior, what was your take with the 5e versus Pathfinder?
My main one was, like we just said, was you had so many options that it would paralyze you. You're like, oh, I could do this or I could do that. The other thing was, I didn't mind playing Pathfinder as much. I actually kind of enjoyed it. The only thing is that I feel with anything, practice would have made improvement in the sense of there's so many things on like certain saves or reflex saves that you can do for Pathfinders to evade certain things versus 5e just kind of being like, all right, this is the road you're taking. Here's your options.
Yeah, I think with any system, it's probably best if we had started off at level 1, or even like with Dungeon Crawl Classics, level 0, where you go through the character funnel. Sorry.
Don't you start out with like 40 people, and it's like survivor?
I think it's like 5 or 10 people that you go through the funnel with, and whoever the survivor is, your baby.
That's your baby.
That's Moses in the basket right there for y'all. Yeah. But what about you, David? What did you think because you're currently in a 5e game right now too, right?
Yeah.
Outside of this.
And I'm proud to also admit I'm playing 5e with my kids. Recruited some neighbors' kids and my neighbor, so that's pretty cool. I think it's more streamlined. I don't want to use the word simple. I want to stay away from simple because I think it's
loaded.
That's cop out.
For sure. I like 5e. I'm getting more used to it, and to Junior's point, there's so many like little +1s and +2s and stuff, which is cool, but you can sit there for hours like, well, let me look up that rule, hold on. Whereas 5e, it's like you either don't have initiative or you do, and if it's like a GM, I feel like it would be a lot easier to be like, sure, you're in a shadow, so I'm going to give it to you, like that kind of stuff on the fly, instead of being like, well, let me see what the rule is on that. As far as the build for Dempsey, I feel like it's very similar. Flavor wise, I feel like it's the exact same character. But either way, I like him, and I like this character. I like the story I've built around him, behind him, and I hope I get to whittle that out to the listeners eventually.
Yeah, and that's something you and I will continue to stitch together in our off time, so we know when to bring it into play. Because I still got that recording that we made. As far as for my own personal preference between 5e and Pathfinder, I like them both. I think that people might say that 5e is ambiguous in certain rules, and I don't think that's true. I think that what it does is it has a broader stroke on certain things, whereas Pathfinder is more minute, where it really picks in the smaller pieces. And I think they both get the job done. I think they go around the mountain a different way, but they still wind up where you're going to be at. And the reason why we went back to 5e is because 5e will get us around that mountain faster. And for an hour show, we need to do that. We need to maintain moving forward, keep going down range. I don't like breaking up a show in the middle of combat, especially when a character goes down. I would prefer to keep going, but I didn't
unless
see
you want cliffhanger,
baby.
Yeah, that's true. And I totally fed into that. I like watching War, and I keep listening to that last
awesome.
3 minutes. Yeah, it's enjoyable for me.
I see how it is. I see why I'm here.
Yeah, but I think that they both serve a purpose, and they both should be started at first level. And if you don't start them off at first level, then I think you do either mechanic a disservice, because you don't get the feel. I remember I used to listen to a podcast for 4th edition, and they had a panel of 3 guys, and they were talking about what it was like to start off at higher levels in 4th edition. They said, well, we really don't. Some guy had mentioned that they didn't prefer to do it because you miss out on a lot of the magical items that you'd get through the progression, and you don't get to stretch your legs as you get to that point. You don't get to fill the shoes of that character. And I couldn't agree more, because I played in a game where he was bumping us up like every 3 levels to get us to level 20, so when he ended, he could say he finished his campaign with level 20 characters, but we never really seasoned each level between. So it was just like next thing you knew, you leveled up your character by 5 levels, and it's like, well, okay, great, but I really didn't get to enjoy the between levels, and I think that that's important to do. So jumping in from
agreed
one system to the other in the middle of the AP, well, we're back where we are.
Like
what was that?
Like jumping straight into a Ferrari when you're 16,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's not going to end in disaster.
And I think eventually we will come back around to a Pathfinder AP where we will be with Pathfinder characters at some point, possibly. That's something that's further down the road. Now, another thing that you had brought up, Ryan, was that the Dragon's Demand, it does plateau at level 6. And what do we see the evolution of the character in campaigns as far as whether or not they'd make it to 20? Me personally, what I believe is that there are other campaigns that actually start off at like level 6 and 7 or 5 or whatever, and I think that what we would do is we would transition with these same characters into those APs at some point. So even if we don't go into it immediately after Dragon's Demand, hang on to your character sheets, because we will probably delve into that, which would be nice, because they don't start off at level 1, they start off at level 5 or 7, which, like we just explained, we don't want to start an AP at a high level without having seasoned that character through the previous levels and got them with their magic items and whatnot. So
That'd be pretty cool to continue seeing the story of, you know, whoever ends it.
Yeah,
Ends at the end of the story of the AP.
you like that?
I like that. It's like a
I'm glad you
continuing
like
story.
that.
I love it.
Because that leads into the next topic of this discussion. That another thing that's been brought to my attention by none other than our newest Hard Slinger, David Ratke, is let's continue carrying Crown. So I sure hope you still have Oust.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just got to remember how to play a wooden elf.
That's right. And that's something that I would like to see come to fruition maybe after Dragon's Demand, where we delve back into carrying Crown. Because I know that a certain GM had messaged me asking me how I ran the Harrowstone prison. Thank you, David. I appreciate you messaging me and asking me how I ran that.
Thank you for the help.
Because he was actually running book 1 of Carrion Crown. Remember when I gave the toast and the shout out to him at the table? Mm-hmm. You know, your window was right beside him. But yeah, I think it would be kind of cool to see how you guys finish doing the defense of the beast of Lepidstadt. You know, and I think I'd already mentioned to Ryan that he would probably be working with the prosecution on that, and that's something I still want to maintain. And whereas Oust would still be a clerk that represents the investigative clerk that represents the defense, and we could have David's character and Chris's character fall on whatever sides of that, but all in all trying to determine whether or not the beast of Lepidstadt is actually guilty of these crimes at these different places. So that is something that I would definitely like to pick back up at some point in the future.
Okay, I just gotta ask this. Okay, Junior, wooden elf? Are you playing Pinocchio?
No, when we were doing the introductions of the characters a while back, when we first started the AP, I introduced my character as a wooden elf when I meant to say something else.
The wood elf, yeah.
A wood elf, so it just kind of stuck with me.
It's just a play on words. It just thought it was hilarious anyways.
And I hope that the listeners out there have actually listened to Carrion Crown, and if they haven't, get caught up. It's an amazing AP. I didn't write it, but I really enjoyed running it. So
cool.
I was gonna just try to chime in, and I've got a whole thing of like a Suicide Squad idea for my character, like somebody that gets pressed into it and as kind of a way to redeem themselves. So I'm super excited about that too.
Yeah, you might even be working well for the prosecution. Like, hey, you know what? Find evidence to find this guy guilty, or you will be the next individual in the Burning Man yourself, burning alongside him, which is their torture effigy out in front of the courthouse, where they had planned, after finding the beast guilty, to stick him in there and light this giant wicker beast on fire. So next, we've got a few more followers on our Facebook page, which I'm happy to see. Keep them coming. Remember, there are several ways that you can help out the show. As always, tell a friend, tell a family member, take their device, subscribe, with or without their knowledge. They don't care. They're not going to listen. You're going to listen to it. You take their phone. Yeah, hell yeah. Another way is to find us on our Patreon page at patreon.com/rollthehard20podcast. For as little as $1 a month, you too can help keep these awesome lights going. Oh, somebody didn't pay their bill. Oh, there's another bill out. Okay, well, we're going to fire this back up. For an audio podcast, you wouldn't see that, but I turned the lights off. Back on. Now we're going to go round robin. Shut up, Junior. I see you over there laughing. David, what else you got to add to the show? Give it to me.
Shit, put me on the spot, huh?
Now I'm going to put each and every one of you on the spot, but at least you get the first knowledge. Everybody else,
the first
be
spot.
ready. Be ready.
Just excited to be here, and
sounds great. Moving on.
No,
no, just keep going. Tell me.
I got nothing. I don't know. I'm more of a one shot wonder here.
Junior.
What's up, baby?
How you doing, brother?
I'm just chilling. I'm loving the show.
I know you are. This guy, man, he's like totally right on. We're gonna keep doing this. Ryan,
I am just thankful for hanging out with everyone here and all of our listeners.
That was detected as a lie.
Yeah, lie detector.
Hold on, I think my launch
Obviously,
is back.
sorry. Pardon me, I'm being a wooden elf named Pinocchio. My nose is growing.
Jeez Louise. Red alert. I think Kilgore didn't like your response there.
Obviously not.
What the hell happened? We had some kind of an alert.
No, it's just one of the things I'm just super appreciative of is everyone in this group does do things a little bit differently than like a lot of the games that I've played recently, and I appreciate it as a learning experience. Also, it's because like I'm constantly going, wait, but that's not doesn't end that way, type thing, and
Now it feels good.
and, well, no, but it also like anything is you learn new ways to do things. You learn new ways to interpret things, and I just really appreciate that with this group. So,
Well, you've
Thank
been
you.
with us for a while. We've all been. That's not a Nazi, so.
No, I'm just putting my hand up to.
Yes, second row, blonde hair to the right.
So Brian kind of touched on this, and it's something for
Whoa, I
players.
don't admit to
definitely touched
anything.
on this.
but-
Dinner was
Ben's
good
that
at your
way.
house the other night, though. By the way, no. So I've heard on other podcasts where they'll do like a cut scene. Maybe they're in a long combat or something, or there's some kind of like exposition they want to get out about a character's backstory, and that's something Brian and I have kind of worked on together. And he actually recorded something, and I don't want it to become like the Dempsey show. So, I would love to, if you guys and Chris have stuff about your backstory, your characters. I write for a living. That's what I do. So I'd love to work with you guys on something, get some sort of scene like that going too, if it hits you and you're, inspired. But I definitely that's a cool thing to have for the show.
And it's a cool thing, and I appreciate that. I mean, Brian's got it has a nice short story about Warren that he gets to work with too. So,
And I have been, every time I get an opportunity, I pick on him a little, just fuck with his mind just a little. And I couldn't wait actually to play tonight so I could fuck with him a little bit more, and I just didn't get that opportunity. But yeah, I always encourage everybody to give me some kind of a feeling off their backstory and their motives and what drives them and fears and things that encapsulate their entity of their character, so I could make their character more rich in the story rather than just a page of stats, anything like that. I mean, I've always been about that. Or I'll even take the liberty of doing something with their backstory. I think I did that with Rafu at one point, with the whole hand thing, and we put his whole thing together where he was part of a band of killers and he turned his back on them. This is during the Riders of the Storm campaign and stuff, when it was coming to close to the conclusion, which I totally enjoyed running that. And that's always something that we were supposed to pick back up when they went. They stayed back in time, remember? Like some of the people went back and they ended up staying. That's always something I wanted to touch back on at some point. But alas, we don't have all the players again, so it'd be futile. But
time to do a reunion podcast.
I actually reached out to Koosh, and he said that he is playing in a game, not a recording, because I guess because of the his company won't allow him to record anything. So, but eventually, if he makes his way back down to, I almost said back down here to California, which I'm not in California, but who knows? At some point, maybe we'll be able to have him back on the show, which would be nice because he was very fun to play with.
Or we just get him like a voice changer,
weird,
get like a mask.
Now you're talking. Yeah.
Then show me the body. We'll call him Bane.
Solution on the skin.
There you go.
Or it gets the Koosh again. Well, does anybody else have anything else to add to the show of this evening?
I think we've actually covered quite a wide breadth.
Yeah, I mean, surprisingly for putting together just a brief outline and touching base on a lot of stuff and just free forming it, I think we got a lot of stuff exercised. But I for one, as the DM, couldn't ask for a better panel of players. You guys, I wish Chris was here. He already knows that, but I think, like I've said before, and I keep saying it because it's the only thing that makes sense to me, is when you finally find the dish with the right ingredients, it just serves everybody so well. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
So Italian of you.
this is just like my mother used to make. God rest her soul.
You show respect.
I'm suddenly envisioning you as like a vole on Zootopia.
I don't know
Thank
Zootopia.
you. I have kids. I know Zootopia. That's actually a pretty good show. And Shakira did the music, so that's what's up.
Somebody trying to flush a toilet over there, or what the hell's that noise?
I think it's my coffee cup.
Oh, I thought Junior was trying to work the handle behind himself or something. This thing ain't
I
gonna
thought I had it on
flush.
mute.
I'm gonna need that poop knife. Well, guys, I think after this, let's just warm up our dice and top off our glass and finish off this night going solo.
That what they call it
It's a
now.
solo night, huh?
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
Well-
awesome. I loved just chatting with you guys about the game too, and obviously wish Chris was here. And hey, if he was, then we'd figure out what's going on with this demon.
Yeah, we'd be playing. But you know what? Sometimes it's great to kind of get outside the skin of the characters and actually just lay down some bullshit, and I like that. So, once again, Gary Kilgore, I appreciate everything you said about the show. Remember, give me your address so I can send those things out to you. Other than that, guys, have a good night. I'll see you next week. And we'll
Good night.
finish off
Alright.
Warren for good.
Damn it! I've got to write a new backstory.
Thank you for joining us once again on Roll the Hard 20 podcast. Remember, you can find us and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcasts, and Audible. And if you like what you're listening to, leave us that 5-star rating and review. We've also got a YouTube channel at Roll the Hard 20, so if you're into watching, head on over there and hit that like bell, and don't forget to subscribe. We can also be found in the wild on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so don't forget to check us out and look for us out there. You can also contact the show directly at rollthehard20podcast@gmail.com, or head on over to the website at rollthehard20podcast.com, where you can also download the current show directly and view our archives and galleries. We got a lot of interesting stuff posted there, so head on over. And finally, join us on our Patreon page at patreon.com/rollthehard20podcast, where you can become a hard slinger and pick up swag. So, until next session, keep your dice warm and your glass topped off as you roll those hard 20s.